thank you to the chamber for letting me speak. So I'll talk like 2 hours and then eat, right? Is that fair? So it's January and everybody is making resolutions and everybody's joining the gym, right? Because this is time for health. But let me ask you, how well do you think we as like a people, a country, America, how well are we actually doing in health? Yeah, not so good. So we're about 5% of the world's population, and we consume about 80% of the drugs that are made. So we can argue that there's some poor countries and third world countries, but there's plenty of industrialized countries, right, that we are doing. So we take 80% of the drugs, but do you know where we rank in industrialized countries in health by the World Health Organization? We're like 40. We bounce around right at the bottom, 41, 42, somewhere in there. So obviously our method of trying to be healthy and go at health, even though we spend billions of dollars in research and we have hospitals and things everywhere, we're not doing very well, right? So statistics also tell us that 4 out of 5 people, so look at the little circle in, are going to die of either heart disease or cancer. Not very exciting, right? 1 out of 3 women will die of cancer, 1 out of 2 men. So if you just look at the statistics, it's pretty dooming and not very exciting, right? But the good part is, out of that, research also shows us less than 10% of that is genetic. So maybe 8 out of 100 people might die of that kind of disease from genes, but the rest of that we have a whole lot of control over, right? We've got 90% at minimum control over whether we get that kind of disease and we live healthy or that we die. So that's a little better, right? We've got a shot. But I always look at health sort of like a roadmap. If I'm going to drive up out of Florida and I'm trying to get to, whatever, California, I'm going to put it in my GPS and I'm going to follow those instructions, right? If I don't, nobody's going to be surprised if I don't get where I'm going, or if I get lost and I'm driving the wrong place, right? So I'm going to use myself as an example. So growing up, I was always an athlete. I played sports forever, and then in my 20s, I competed in powerlifting. I was nationally ranked. So I was about 240 or 50 pounds, and I had abs. Not so much anymore, cake. But so I looked great. I ate really well. I was eating chicken and rice all the time. I was the one who everybody thought was the health nut, right? But kind of the dirty little secret was I was extremely, extremely sick. So through my 20s, every night, I had to wear like braces on my hands for carpal tunnel. I would wake up in the middle of the night with just burning pain. I got a migraine 2-3 times a week. Every winter, I would get 7 or 8 sinus infections. From the age of 19 to 31, I had to get on crutches every morning for about 20 minutes because I couldn't put any weight on my foot. My digestion was a complete disaster. Every time I ate, I felt sick. I had no energy whatsoever. I was terribly depressed. I had such bad OCD that it was getting hard to get out of bed, get ready, get to work, and go take care of the things that I needed to take care of. So while on the outside it would have appeared, probably to you all if you'd seen me then, wow, that guy's sort of the picture of health. In reality, I was a complete train wreck. So I always in my office consider health, and the way I talk about it is 100% health would be 100% function, right? If every single cell and organ and everything in your body was functioning at 100% right now, we should be at about 100% health. That make sense? Can we agree on that, right? If everything is functioning properly. But what are the things that encompass functioning properly? Health gets, it seems complicated, right? There's a study of this is good this week, this is bad that week. You should do this workout or that workout, or eat paleo and don't eat a carb or you'll die, or eat this fat, don't eat that fat, right? It gets really, really complicated. But it's not really that difficult. So here I was eating all the right things, right? I was exercising, so I was doing those 2 things, but I always tell my patients there's really 3 things you need to be healthy. 1, you need your brain and body talking to each other, which is my job to make sure that's happening and things in your spine aren't misaligned to cause that from happening. You need to put good food in, right? Women especially, I think you all are probably aware, and there's probably some of you sitting here, thyroid problems are a huge concern now, right? Women are getting their thyroid radiated or cut out, and it seems like half the women that come in the office and the practice are on thyroid medication. Well, if every bit of food you eat is loaded with hormones and antibiotics and chemicals and everything else, and that's what you're putting into your body, and then your body has to take that and build things out of it, Is it any wonder that hormones might be out of whack, and thyroids and gallbladders and all these other things that we like to cut out? Is it really any wonder they're not working well if we're just putting junk in all the time, right? The old saying, garbage in, garbage out, that's what we're going to get. So when it came to me, I was eating right, I was moving, but my body wasn't functioning very well. And that's when I met a man who adjusted a bone in my neck. Boom, everything changed. My body started to function right, my brain and body talked. And then when I was 31 years old. Within 6 months, it was like I had a brand new body. Everything was functioning great. Any medications I was on, I was off. I felt unbelievable every day. I'll be 43 in a few months, and I feel infinitely better than I did when I was 31, which is backwards of the way things typically go in this country, right? So you got to find whatever that thing is for you. And maybe for you it is chiropractic, or maybe for you it's eating organic, or well, for everybody it's removing the chemicals and probably chiropractic. But you got to figure out what is your roadmap, but then you need to follow it, right? A New Year's resolution isn't really that important for whether your clothes are going to fit very well, but it is important when you look back and you think, okay, I got 90% control potentially over what debilitating, horrid disease that I might experience later in life that takes me down and takes my family down. Eating healthy, not that hard, is it, Mark? No. You got to have a game plan, right? You can't just stop at McDonald's every day and run in. But if you plan ahead, I mean, if you have McDonald's once every 5 years, we'll probably forgive you, but you got to plan ahead, and you got to learn a few things, right? But we all have a phone where you can all Google a recipe. It's not like it used to be to go to a cooking class, right? It's pretty easy to figure out. All the information that we need to be healthy is right at our fingertips. But it's the why behind it, and why should I go do this? What is my actual real motivation to doing that versus not doing it? We've all seen, I get people in my office all the time that are well into their 90s, and I think, my goodness, if I could have the level of energy they have now, I'd feel tremendous. But almost always when I get to talking to them and I say, what have you been doing? Well, I eat good, and I kept moving. I never stopped. I may have retired from work, but I kept moving, right? Then you put good stuff in, you move your body around, and typically it's going to reward you with functioning a whole lot better. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? So when you're sitting around and you're thinking, is it really worth it? Do I want to make this change? Do I want to move? Do I want to change the way I eat? I mean, number one, you can go watch like What's the Health or Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and you're probably never going to want to eat anything else in your life when you see what happens to the animals and what goes into the food. So if you need a good jump start, that's a great place to go. I am not a vegetarian. I want to proudly proclaim that to the rooftops. I love meat. But I have some patients that came in, and 17 years ago, the husband had colitis, and they told him he was going to hemorrhage and he was probably going to die. And they had done some surgeries, and that still wasn't working, and his wife started to read and research. They went strict vegetarian. The doctor said, you're going to kill him. He's going to hemorrhage and bleed out at home in bed. 30 days later, nothing. No colitis, no bleeding, and now here are 17 years later. He's never had another drop of it. So what we put in our body is vitally, vitally important. Remember the old saying when we were growing up, you are what you eat? That wasn't just a kid saying, right? It's a tried and true, absolute, honest point and purposeful thing, right? You're going to put junk in, you're going to get junk out. So take the time and make the effort to put good stuff in, to plan what you're doing, to get enough sleep, to take care of yourselves a little bit. I know if you're a mother and you have a family and things, you tend to put yourself last, right? You take care of the kids and you take care of everybody else. Then when you get a little bit older, and I get people all the time that are in their 40s or 50s, and they say, well, the kids are grown, now I'm going to take care of myself, and they're already sick and broken, right? And we certainly do a good job generally of getting them well anyway, but why don't we never get to that point? Feed your family better, you're going to feed yourself better, right? We want to do better for our kids, we want to feed them better food, not things with 1,000 chemicals in them, and set them up for failure either, right? So let's make their 90% a much, much better chunk by doing what it is that we need to be doing. Right? You start eating clean food, you're going to crave clean food. You eat junk food all the time, that's probably what you're going to crave, right? Your body gets used to something, and that's what it wants to go with. But you'll find if you wake up every day and you feel really, really good, right? That's addictive. We all want to feel good, And the healthier you are, the better your body's functioning, and the better everything is going, the more energy you're going to have, the better you're going to feel, and the more excited you're going to be about doing it. And doing it more and more and more. You don't want to get, out of control to where you don't eat a carb and you got to run 30 miles a day like some crazy people, right? But everything in moderation, but it's exciting and it's good to feel good. I know what it was like going through my 20s where every day I woke up and I thought, dear God, when I'm 60 or 70, am I going to be in a wheelchair? Am I going to be dead? I mean, I don't know. Don't get confused by all the diets and confused by all the workouts and all the supplements. All that stuff's good and it all has its place, right? But simple. Brain and body talking to each other. Eat good food, right? Because we got to fuel it with what it is. Move around a little bit. And that doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and do a 3-hour workout, but go take a walk. Take another walk in the evening, or get out and walk your dog, play with the kids, but it's really not that hard if you just simplify it, bring it down, boil it down to something that's easy and you can do day to day. So just take it slow. Make one small change. If you don't eat breakfast, eat a good breakfast. Right? If you eat a junky lunch every day, pack your lunch or get something better. If you never walk, don't go leave here today and say, hey, he said I need to walk. I'm going to walk 20 miles a day. No, you're not. Right? Is anybody actually going to stick with that? No. If you walked no days last week and you walk 1 day this week, you won, right? And if you walk 2 days next week and 3 the next or whatever it is, but moderation. But remember the reason that you're doing it. You're not doing it because, oh, my clothes will fit a little better. I mean, that's great, and we all like to look good, sure. But ultimately, you're doing it so you'll have a healthy body, that you'll grow a healthy body. And if you don't have one now, it's all right. You start today, you start tomorrow, and you get it going. But remember, every decision that you make when it comes to your health, you're either, you know how the old saying, you're never sitting still, right? You're either going up, you're going down, forward or backwards. With your health, it's the same thing. With every decision you make, you're either building health or you're building sickness. So I want to build health, right? Don't all of you? So keep that in mind. Doesn't mean you can't occasionally snack or occasionally have something else or on the decisions that you're making. But build health day after day after day, and you'll get rewarded with a healthy body.